What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are on part 4 of the What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you, the TikTok compilation. So I feel like after every single one of these, it literally has just gotten more and more dumb. So if that's how it's going to be throughout all of these, this one should be a doozy, so make sure you stick around for this. Thanks for watching, guys. This one's by TikTok Reacts. I will have all of the information down in the description box below for you guys if you wanted to check it out.
I'm kind of curious, what is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I already said this before, but I'm gonna say it again because some people could be so ignorant and stupid. So I went to college in the States, and this American asked me where I'm from, so I told him I'm from Korea, but my family resides in the Philippines. And this dude had the audacity to ask me if people in the Philippines eat mangoes and bananas every day, and do they live in a hut or a shack. And this is exactly what I told him, word by word. And I said, bro, you do know that's fucking racist, right? And the guy's like, how is that racist? And I asked him the same question, and I said, hey, I heard Americans love to shoot people, especially in schools. Is that true? And he's like, that's racist. It's so ironic that US have one of the...
I don't mean to laugh about that, but it really is. Like, it is true. And the Philippines, everything that I've ever seen has led me to believe that in the Philippines, a lot of people live, like, I wouldn't really say a shack. I mean, a house is a house, whether, don't matter what it is, but it has just always showed it that way. And so, I don't really think that guy was really trying to be racist, but like on 90 Day Fiance, there's a guy that was dating somebody from the Philippines, and that's all they showed on the Philippines. Like, it wasn't just, it showed the people living in like the shack thingies on the side, the water, beside the water and stuff. So it's like, I don't know how to feel about that one.
The best universities in the world, but some people can be so extremely stupid.
A lot of people give good content on this, but let me tell you from my experience, I'm a leasing specialist and I do meet a lot of people. I know everybody gets this question, where you from? Say you're from the America or from the Canada. So I live in Canada. So this white man goes, where you from? I said, from Canada. And he said, no, where you from? I said, I'm from Canada. And then he goes, no, my parents are from Portugal, so I am from Portugal. I said, oh, my parents are from Canada. I am from Canada. He goes, no, where are you ethnically from? I said, I'm ethnically from Canada. Guys, I'm an immigrant. I came here for school. My parents are in India. I don't care. You guys do the same. Watch their faces drop and be like, what is this person saying? Do they get the question? Are they dumb? I'm dumb. Say I'm from America. I was born. My parents are born here. Everybody's from.
Unfortunately, I have way too many of these stories, but I'll pick the worst one. So I used to be a tour guide for the university that I went to. And before we start the tour and start walking everywhere, I usually say something corny like, I'm gonna be walking up front here, blah, blah, blah. If any of you guys wanna give me company, it's lonely up here, we can chit chat, whatever. I'll say something like that. So a printer paper person came up to me and was like, hey, I have a personal question for you. To which I'm excited. Oh, they're coming up to me. Yes, personal question. This is probably about financial aid. It's about women's safety. It's about something like that. I was wrong. This man asked me why I was allowed to be in school, and that he assumed I was Indian, and why haven't my parents gotten me an arranged marriage, and how was I allowed to be in school? And mind you, he was not quiet, so everyone on the tour heard me, and I had to answer in front of everybody. Also in front of students walking by.
Oh wow, you speak perfect English.
Okay.
So I'm from the US and I've been living in Spain for 5 years. A few years ago, a Spanish friend of mine who would teach English sent me a screenshot of a paper that one of her students, who was around the age of 16 to 18, wrote. It was comparing diets, and it said word for word that people from the US are unhealthy because they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a fast food restaurant. And I know people in the US don't have a healthy diet, but I don't know a single person who does this. In my household growing up, my mother would cook dinner every night. We ate at a restaurant, fast food or otherwise, maybe 2 times per month. I also know how to cook and regularly cook. I'll definitely give you all that people in the US probably eat way more fast food than other places, but I just don't know anybody that goes there for every single meal every.
I do. I know a lot of people, and it's so weird. Like, I've always worked in restaurants, so all throughout my years, like, I've worked 5 years one place, 7 years one place, 1 year, whatever. And I would feed the same people every single day. Day in and day out, the same thing every single day. Like, it got to the point where the ticket would come in, I'm like, oh, Mike's here, or whoever it is. I'm like, that's crazy. I would get sick of food like that. But there are people that will come breakfast, dinner, and lunch in fast food restaurants. That is and it is whatever. I don't know. It's so normal to me. I don't really think about it, but it is strange for sure. Yeah, and it's super weird. I've worked in restaurants where we both fed the same people, so they're just family that would come in, and they would faithfully eat every single day, at least lunch every single day at this restaurant. And then I ended up getting another job, and those same people went there too, just as much. And I was like, what in the world? Like, it's so funny. Like, everybody knows them, and they always get the same thing there too. It's crazy.
I'm American, but I gotta take this L. So freshman year of college, my friends and I go up to Canada to have a fun weekend, whatever. We're partying, having fun. We don't sleep at all, right? We get to the border.
Yeah,
I'm in the backseat, slumped out. Border Patrol knocks on the window. He's asking everyone questions. He comes to me, looks at my passport. Sir, what's your nationality? I go, Louis Barbosa. He goes, no, sir, what's your nationality? I go, Haitian, Dominican, or Puerto Rican. Choose whichever one. Everyone in the car staring at me like, bro, what are you saying right now? You're about to get us arrested. I'm like, what am I saying wrong, right? Everyone's looking at me. So the Border Patrol tries to dumb it down for me. He goes, sir, where are you from? I go, New York City. He goes, okay, so what's your nationality? So now everyone's staring at me and I'm getting tight. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. He goes, yeah, you're American. Go right through. Yo, son, thank God we wasn't coming back from Mexico.
I think we can all agree that the school system is shit. They don't teach us anything that they need to teach us. We don't know half the shit that we're supposed to. You should, in adulthood, go outside and learn your own shit and research. Google is free. But I spent some time in Hawaii. This was pre-quarantine, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago. But I spent some time in Hawaii, and I had become friends with a lot of people down there. And this guy, this older white lady comes up to him, and she's like, where are you from? Where are you from? And he's like, oh, I'm from here, actually. He asked this lady, and where are you from? And she goes, I'm from the United States of America. Yeah. Y'all, I must have fucking cackled all the way over. She proceeds to say to him, wow, you speak really good English for a Hawaiian.
Yeah, and that's when you need to go. English is a basic thing everybody pretty much knows. Like, that's so crazy when I hear that. Like, English is such a basic language. I mean, that's the least we would know.
So when I was 16, I did an exchange program in the US from Brazil for 6 months. And I remember it was December time, and I was telling one of my friends how I had spoken to my parents, and they were at the beach because it was really hot and, you know, summer in Brazil at that time. And then she looked me straight in the eyes and asked me, oh, so is it July in Brazil now?
I'm an American that has recently moved to London, and I've had multiple American friends ask me what language they speak here in England. One even asked me if I had to learn French to live here in England.
Part 2, here we go. So we're still in Marrakesh. So the American couple have assumed me as their cameraman, and we're at the YSL Museum getting some Instagram pics for them. And they're like, hey, do you want to go and get coffee? So we hail a taxi. I expect we're going to end up somewhere like this. The Americans basically insist the taxi driver takes them to Starbucks, and he has no idea what they're talking about. But they've obviously done their research because they knew the name of the shopping centre and where there was basically a brand new Starbucks that had like just opened. So we're at this Starbucks in the middle of Marrakesh, and I'm asking them, so are you going to go to the desert, or like, are you going to go up north? Like, what's your plans for this trip? They tell me they have flights in 2 weeks back to the States from Cape Town, South Africa. I thought they could hitchhike in 2 weeks from here to here, and that would be perfectly normal. I'm kind of like, well, Africa's a big continent, and their response was basically that America is a big country. They're used to hitchhiking in the States. Comparing hitchhiking across this country here versus this whole continent here. And I guess I'm going to have to do a part 3. So part 3, here we go. So still in Marrakesh. So after Starbucks, they dragged me to H&M. Like, we're in Morocco and they want to hang around H&M. I wish I knew the ending, but honestly, your guess is as good as mine. They had my Instagram, but they never followed me, so I don't know what became of them. I don't know if they got to Cape Town and made their flight. So I do have a theory that they actually weren't going to Cape Town in the first place, and they just made it up for clout. I have this theory because the night before, when they first met me, they'd asked me, is this your first time in Africa? It wasn't the first African country I'd been to. I'd been to Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa before. So I think maybe they wanted to seem like worldlier, and they just made up this whole trip and they weren't actually going to Cape Town. Love to know what you guys think, and maybe they'll see this on TikTok and I'll find out like what happened. But yeah, your guesses are as good as mine, and I'm sorry I can't give you
I do gotta remember that this is TikTok. Like, brain rot. If I've ever seen it.
Hi. Yeah, fellow American here. And this is still the dumbest thing an American has ever said to me, because I'm from Alaska, the 49th state, which somehow gets lost in translation to the 48 other states that came before us, who somehow forget that we're a state, because then we have people who come up to Alaska and they walk into my tour shop and they're like, hi, where's the currency exchange? Are you planning a trip to Canada? We are like right close to the border. No. I need Alaskan money. Are you not from the United States? No, I'm from Kansas. But I need Alaskan money. Ma'am, did you miss the giant American flag right outside I can see it out my window. There's also one at the post office just across the street. It's the same money. Stay tuned for part 2.
I'm assuming we're talking about white Americans here, right? So, story time. I was partying at my friend's house, and one of his friends, who's a straight white man, was also there. I don't remember what was the last time I talked to a straight white man, but anyway. So we said hi to each other. I told him my name's Jackie. Then he asked me what my middle name was. And I thought to myself, this is not a normal question you would ask someone, especially when you don't know about each other. I guess what he really wanted to know was where I came from and what my legal Chinese name was. So I just told him I'm from China and people in China don't have a fucking middle name. And he was like, wow, I didn't know. But anyway, I am pretty sure if I were a white American, he wouldn't ask me that question in the first place.